Hey gang, it's your buddy Platt, back with another episode of One Gallon Brewing, and today I show you how to brew a milk stout. So let's go. So today I'm real excited about this particular style of beer. It's one of my kind of guilty pleasure beers. You know, I've talked about how I love the darker, maltier beers, but this one's a little change of pace. Real quick, let's address the name Milk Stout. Is there any milk in it? The answer is no. Where they get the name from is we're going to be adding powdered lactose or milk sugar to the beer. Now, why are we doing that? Well, one of the unique things about lactose is is the one style of sugar that does not ferment. The yeast, just for whatever reason, cannot break it down, or at least in that form. There are ways to ferment milk, but that's kind of above and beyond what we're doing here today. Now, what that brings to your beer is, because it doesn't ferment, those sugars don't ferment out, you get a sweet taste at the end. Also, because it's milk sugar, you get a little bit of creaminess. So when you hear stout, the word stout, people naturally go to something like Guinness, which is a dry Irish stout. In those style beers, you know it's got a drier finish. You pick up kind of astringent notes. You'll pick up espresso and coffee bean notes. Those don't tend to add a lot of sweetness. That's why when you add the lactose in there, it kind of balances those notes out and also brings out some of the chocolate notes. You almost get like almost a chocolate milk kind of vibe by some of these beers. Just a really neat beer. A lot of these milk stouts now have been kind of turned into what they call dessert stouts or pastry stouts, marshmallow stouts, stuff like that. But the lactose in there provides that sweetness that you need for those styles of beer. With that being said, we're going to use our regular brew in the bag method. I do want to talk about that real quick. That's why I'm bringing it up. The last few weeks last few beer videos have kind of opined about we've been a couple percentages off on ABV. If target ABV is 4.8, we've been coming at 4.5, 4.4, something like that. And it just dawned on me, I'm a ding dong. That's why I'm bringing this up. The first few videos we did in this series, we did a true all-grain brew where we also did a sparge and stuff. But then I went to the brew in the bag for simplicity. Well, you lose a little efficiency with the brew in the bag. So that's why I've been still using regular all-grain recipes, but utilizing the brew in the bag method. So you're going to lose some efficiency using the brew in the bag method. So either adjust, add some more fermentables to adjust, or what I'll start doing is actually utilizing brew in the bag specific recipes here in the future. But I wanted to note that is probably where our gap is the last few videos. So with that being said, let's get to brewing a milk stout. All right, gang, so I've brought 2 gallons of water up to 160 degrees. We're going to go ahead and add in our crushed grains. I want to stir this in while we're doing this. We don't want any dough balls. We want to get all that grain nice and hydrated. All right. Get all that goodness out of there. I'm going to go ahead and cut off our heat. We're going to stir this in. I'm going to cover this and we're going to let this sit for 1 hour at around 155 degrees. That's what we're mashing in at. Or we're going to let the grains rest at. We'll let them rest for 1 hour, and then we'll come back to pull our grain back. All right, gang, so it's been 1 hour. Time to pull our grains. Once again, this is where brew in the bag just comes in so much easier. Oh, look how brown that bag has become in just an hour. We're just going to set it here on our colander. We're going to let the grains go ahead and drain for a few minutes. Then we'll come back, kick on the heat, and begin our boil. So let's let the grains finish draining, and we'll come back to start our boil. All right, gang, we're at the start of our 60-minute boil. You can see we're just kind of breaking through, and we'll give her a quick swirl to kind of break up that head. This is why you always want plenty of space in your pot. so we can avoid boilovers. All right, kind of break that up. Now, now we're going to, at the start of our 60-minute boil, we're going to add our first hop addition. I have 0.2 ounces of East Kent Golding hops. This is our bittering hops. We're going to go ahead, add in. Again, we want to keep an eye while you're doing that. So I'm going to let this continue to boil. We'll come back in 30 minutes for our next hop addition. All right, gang, we're 30 minutes into the boil. Time for our next hop addition. This time we're adding 0.1 ounces of East Kent Golding hops. Go ahead and throw that in there. Give her a little stir so she don't boil up too much. And we will come back in 30 minutes to add our lactose and to end the boil. All right, gang, so we're at the end of the boil, and this is the point where I'm going to add our lactose. Now, you can add lactose at pretty much any point in time in the process, including adding it in fermentation. I'm going to add it here for a couple different reasons. A, whenever adding any kind of powder or liquid, it's better if the liquid's hot, for, you know, we're just incorporating it. And B, I could have added it at the start of the boil, but I also did a hop addition, and I doubt there would be any issue, but just probably adding both at the same time, who knows if it would affect it, anything. So I went with at the end of the boil for adding the lactose. I'm going to go ahead and kill the heat. We're going to let her cool off. I'll go ahead and pitch my yeast, do my gravity reading, and we'll come back to wrap up the video. All right, gang, time to wrap up the video. First, let's start off by breaking down this recipe. We brewed 1 gallon of milk stout. We used 1.5 pounds of pale 2-row malt, 2 ounces of dark chocolate malt, 2 ounces of crystal 80 malt, 2 ounces of roasted barley, 4 ounces of powdered lactose. Our hop additions were 0.2 ounces of East Kent Golding at 60 minutes at the start of the boil, 1 ounce of East Kent Golding at 30 minutes halfway through the boil. We started off with 2 gallons of water total. I added the lactose at the end of the boil. Again, you can add it whatever part of the process. I just chose to do the end of the boil. Yeast, I'm using Safale US 05. There are specific stout yeast out there, and more, you know, English pub style yeast you can use. According to the recipe, and you know, at the start of the video, I talked about how brewing the bag's a little less efficient. Projected started gravity 1.057, projected final gravity 1.022. Now that may seem high, but remember the lactose does not ferment out, so that'll still affect gravity. Projected ABV was 4.6%. We actually came in at 1.056, so just a notch low. So we were basically there. So one thing you can do to make that adjustment is to boil more aggressive. You know, just turn up the heat a little bit, instead of a gentle boil, maybe a harder kind of rolling boil in there. But so we should hit our numbers. I'm going to let this sit as usual, primary for 2 weeks, rack off into secondary for 2 weeks. Then we'll bottle condition at room temperature for about a week, and then you throw it in the fridge. And so in a little over a month, we should have a hopefully delicious milk stout to try. Well, I hope you liked this video. If you did, please subscribe down below. Also, please like the video because it lets YouTube know we're putting out good content. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, or beers that you'd like me to brew, please leave them in the comments section, or you can always contact me on the Twitter page. Till next time, bottoms up.